Okay. Of course, we know that I was online somewhere on another Facebook, maybe Judge Money Official, and then I was actually kicked out. So, but I just want to conclude what I was saying about this five-man panel of judges in the Supreme Court, because I don't want to take much of your time, just few minutes of your time, because the report that talked about, let me reflect on it. Let me reflect back on where we started so that you don't get confused. It is about a five-man panel of judges who actually handled the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in the Apex Court of Nigeria. It was a five-man panel of judges where there is more than three panel of judges. If unanimous decision cannot be reached, then there must be a consensus. Now, if you understand that Nigeria Supreme Court did not deliver judgment through a due diligence on the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu on the 15th of December 2023. So, in conclusion, I want to remind you that in a situation as the situation of case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, it is imperative that the court must have an unanimous decision. They must have unanimous decision. Now, as long as there are more than three judges, if unanimous decision cannot be reached, then there must be, a vote. Then the majority of them now takes it. So in a situation whereby a unanimous decision was not reached, and it's actually obvious that three panel of judges was against the other two panel of judges, and the two panel of judges were the ones who delivered and wrote the judgment given against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. That means it was not, it was delivered biased. Those judges were biased, and in a developed world where the judiciary knows their story, where the judiciary function very well, the first thing they will say to those two panel of judges is to recuse themselves. The two judges that delivered the judgment should recuse themselves, because if the three judges could not support their decision, that means consensus was not reached, unanimous decision was not reached, and then so that case cannot, it cannot stand, because this is not a civil matter. Now it is actually it is very, very important that Nigeria judiciary, especially the Apex Court of Nigeria, it is very, very important for them to concede that they have misled the country. It is important for them to concede that they have misled the country. I have actually, been saying this over and over again, that if you are going to deliver a judgment on a case that has no jurisdiction, that means there is something wrong with that particular judgment that is being delivered by whoever. Because if the case has no jurisdiction, how then are you trying it? How then are you entertaining it? Now, because of the lack of jurisdiction of the case, that is exactly what I believe that must have caused the division between or amongst the judges, which led to the case not being able to reach a unanimous decision by the 5-man panel of judges, which warranted the minority number of the judges to take a decision because those people were already biased pre the judgment. So what it does is that these 2 panel of judges must recuse themselves. I don't know how the rule of law works in Nigeria. I don't just understand what exactly is the meaning of this type of jungle justice that we receive in Nigeria in the judiciary. Because if you understand the activities of these people, if you understand the trajectory that these people are going, you will say that this is indeed a jungle justice. It is not, believe you me, it is not done anywhere in the world. There must be unanimous decision in a case where someone is charged with, is answering a criminal charge. A criminal charge, unanimous decision, as long as there is more than 2 panel of judges. There is more than 2 judges that is actually representing that matter or presiding over the case. There must be unanimous decision. If it cannot be reached, a consensus come in where there will be vote, where the majority of the judges now give the verdict, which is actually from them. Now, according to the proceedings of the court, so now it becomes very, very imperative that if Nigeria as a giant of Africa, that they are or they were given the reason best known to them, human resources, maybe because of the number of the population. Otherwise, the whole world or the whole African country is supposed to be looking up to the giant. Not only the giant, the biggest economy, not only the biggest economy, you know, one of the richest, but the thing they lack, the things they lack is good governance. The things they lack is independence. Independence is what Nigeria lack, because during the war of 1967 to 1970, Harold Wilson was able to buy Nigeria through supplying Gowon all the things that he supplied to Gowon to kill Biafrans. Harold Wilson, which was the British Prime Minister as at that time, was able to supply Nigeria whatever they supply Nigeria. The leverage was to still be in a full control of Nigeria. Therefore, their Nigeria judiciary lacks integrity. Likewise, Nigeria electoral process lacks integrity. So what makes them to lack integrity? Likewise, Nigeria deployment of the politicians or ministers or the APC members and their associates. Their deployment to the various departments lacks integrity. It is done through nepotism. Why is it so? Because even those who found themselves in the leadership space understand very well that there is lack of opportunity. So once they go to that leadership space, they practice nepotism because they know themselves they are uninformed when it comes to leadership in a country that is not a black man's initiative. They are not informed. The people who created such country will be, controlling such country. Now you are dealing with a peripheral issue, which I always talk about. You are indeed seriously dealing with a peripheral issue because the people who are in control of the government of Nigeria now are these people who are the neo-colonizers. They are the ones in charge. Now they place somebody as a face. And the same thing they've been doing over the years, over decades, over centuries. You will never, ever, ever be independent, except if you break down the status quo. The status quo that led to 1967 war, not even war, that led to 1967 where Nigeria invaded Biafra land, committed their genocide without being held to account. The same thing that they are doing today where Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is released by the Supreme Court, by the Appellate Court. Now the Supreme Court biased judges could not reach unanimous decision or consensus. The biased judges that, preside over that case could not reach unanimous decision or consensus. Now, they decided to do what they feel like they can do because they believe there are politicians behind them. In a situation like that, there is no way those judges cannot recuse themselves. Who gave those, those minority judges? They must recuse themselves. If there is a law, if Nigeria, want to be perceived as there is still a little bit of integrity amongst their judiciary system or within their judicial system, they must call the judge for recusal. Otherwise, it is laughable. It is laughable. In a situation whereby, a vote needs to be conducted in order to determine a particular case, or the verdict that will be given to a particular case, it is important. It is actually quite crucial that the majority will take it. If they were a 5-man panel, then 2 voted for and 2 voted against, 1 abstention. There must, the judgment is not actually supposed to be delivered. There must be the majority that agree before this judgment will be delivered, especially in a criminal case. Maybe it might be, opposite, maybe in a civil matter. It might be opposite in a civil matter. But in a criminal case, apex court of the land for that matter, that will say no, this person is the judgment, the biased judgment given maybe, or the good judgment given maybe by the lower court, and this person will be, sentenced, even though, or the lower court judgment stands, even if it is biased. That means you are placing the life of maybe innocent person at risk. So in a criminal matter, when the case goes to the Supreme Court, the apex court, it is imperative that everything that the judges are doing must be done within the proceedings of the court or the criminal justice. Anything that is done outside the proceedings of the criminal justice is an injustice. And now, in a situation whereby there is no consensus reached, not unanimous decision, in the verdict delivered against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, that means there is lawlessness, no due diligence. So the case and the verdict is null and void. So the Nigeria judicial system and the lawyers of Nigeria, or the Nigeria Bar Association, were supposed to actually, if they are people who indeed represent what they claim that they represent, Nigeria Bar Association, I am not saying individual lawyers in Nigeria, Nigeria Bar Association is supposed to actually protest against the injustices being meted on the competent lawyers that actually advocate for justice on behalf of their client. Because that is undermining undermining your 6 or 7 years studies. That's what they are doing. Undermining your capability after going through educational system that is made available for you by the neo-colonialists. Now, after going there, when they told you that the education system and the education is the key, after going through such education, now only to return to the courtroom for you to be undermined. Now you have discovered the key, you have discovered the key. You come to the courtroom to make use of the key. Now you find out that the lock there has been changed or replaced. What does that mean? Undermining your time that you wasted in school, trying to become a professional lawyer. So the Nigeria Bar Association is the ones who are being insulted. But they, because of their diverse opinion towards, some things, it is because of their, many of them are actually biased. That is the reason why there is nothing on this face of the earth that is going to fix Nigeria. Because in every sector, there is a problem. Every sector. It is not just a juvenile problem that the sectors in Nigeria is facing. It is a serious problem. If you go to leadership, executive is corrupt to the core. Go to legislatures. You saw them sharing money into their bank accounts. Sharing money into their bank account a few months ago. Into their bank account, getting ready to go and kafabulu muwai jekwana Dubai. That is exactly what they were doing. The Senate president was told them that something has been delivered into your bank account for you to enjoy your holiday. Kafabulu muwai jekopolisia. Fa policy umuwai negun. Fa putakwa like this. Fa dem all right fa. So there is corruption in every sector, and these corruptions are in the they are core corruptions. It is not juvenile corruption. It is irreparable. The corruption you see in Nigeria. And it because of the status quo. The status quo is even making these people who goes into the position of power, they see that there is inadequate, means of creating opportunity for anybody. Therefore, if you cannot beat them, you join them. If you cannot call for the boycott of this status quo, you are not going anywhere. The judiciary now becomes a place like a playfield for children. The judiciary. From executive, legislature, now judiciary. Executive controls judiciary. Legislature controls judiciary. Even ordinary citizen who is rich controls the judiciary. What is the fate of you, ordinary person? A poor person, what is your fate? What is the fate of you as a common man on the ground? What will be your fate if all these sectors are being controlled by bureaucrats? Now, if these things, not just issue of bureaucracy, you will find out that, There is no accountability. Who watches the watchman? Nobody. You find somebody, you know, it is actually quite amusing. It is quite surprising that in most African countries, for you to find somebody in a particular position who is there by merit, it is 1 out of 1,000. In a particular sector in Africa, it is a problem. This is now African problem. For you to find a person who is in a management of a particular position in this, will I call it, mostly in SOEs. In SOEs, for you to find a person, a technocrat, within a particular position, within the SOEs, it is actually 1 out of 100 or 1,000. Now, because they are not, you know, technocrats, they are given a position outside the field where they studied. They are given a different lot, trying to use the, you know, a particular, you know, key obtained from their education system that was established for them for white collar. They are trying to use it to now go and open a very big key, a very big lock. So you cannot use a white collar job, a white collar experience to now govern a nation, because you are incompetent. The thing that is given to you is bigger than you. Meanwhile, not just bigger than you, you are uninformed about it. Now, you will find out that is the reason why you will never find these leaders of Africa trying to show you a way, or trying to show the nation a way of innovation, a way of boycott, a way of, a way of trying to integrate into a greater height of technology. You will not find them. Why is Africa not productive? Why is Africa becoming consumers? Because of incompetent leaders that we are being given. We didn't select them. We didn't make those choices. The people who make those choices are the people who are maybe capitalists, those people who are actually the sponsors. We are sponsoring this president. Everything, we are going to sponsor everything, your campaign, everything, whatever. If you want to bribe anybody, we are going to make the money available for you. As long as you be president, all we are looking for is that we want to take charge of the oil sector. We want to take charge of this, food whatever sector. We want to take charge of this mining sector. We want to take charge. They have already taken charge before they even declare a president. These people had already taken charge of the biggest or most strategic, part of the economy. So what is there for you? Absolutely nothing. Now, I want you to understand that in so doing, there is no way you are going to have a reasonable country. There is no way you are going to have a good, productive, or a country that actually is moving forward. It will never move forward, because you take a novice who is controlled by man, a peripheral, person. And then they are now, of course, what I have noticed with Nigeria president is a copycat. He's a copycat. The current president you have now, he's a copycat. He wants to copy from others without understanding what led to this and how did you get here, and then what is the benefit. He is not looking for what you want. He is not looking for the essential or primary. You want to go to secondary, because that's exactly what I have noticed with him. Believe you me. Now, let's assume that those who believe that the Tinubu will fix your Nigeria, let's assume that you are right. Let's assume that you are right, that he's going to fix your Nigeria. Now, after fixing Nigeria, how many years does he spend in the position of leadership? Only 4 years. If worse come to worse, 8 years, he fix your Nigeria. Then Fulani will rise up and say, hey, it is our turn. It is our turn. Igbo people miss their chance. That's how they go talk them now. Igbo people, they miss their chance in 2023. So now is our turn. We are not going to compromise. Igbo people, you are turn. You miss your chances. Now, at the end of the day, they take the country, right? Back to ground zero. Then you wait for another Messiah to come back and fix it. Dude, stop daydreaming. Stop daydreaming. That I can assure you. The day you stop daydreaming in Nigeria, it is the day you will have future for your posterity. It is the day you create future for your posterity. The day you stop believing that these people, all of a sudden, you as a Biafran, those people that rose up and killed you, committed genocide against you, 1967, starve you to death, starve millions of your own ancestors to death, your own parents to death. You believe that they are going to wake up one day and say, no, we are going to make these people a leader. Let us stop daydreaming. They were being held by Harold Wilson, British Prime Minister as at 1967. Harold Wilson. He was being praised, giving them guns and ammo, bombs. They gave Nigeria, how many? They gave them ammunitions, they gave them bombs, they gave them anti-aircraft, they gave them aircraft bomber, they gave them many things. They gave them many things just to kill Biafrans. Even was suggesting that if there is anything they need, Gowon need, to fast-track the war, so that the plan was just to come and take over your oil sector, to bring Shell, and among others, to take over the oil sector in Biafra land. Why do you think that Nigeria or that Britain refused to negotiate with us, Biafrans, to establish their oil sector in Biafra land as independent Biafra? Why do you think they refused, that they couldn't come to negotiate with us, who are the owners of this oil, that they want to actually hijack through the naivety of Gowon and his associate? They never come to ask us because they know that we will never accept, something that is not going to be beneficial to us. That is the reason why they could not come to us to ask us, can't we just, we will allow you go, but let's negotiate a new deal that will be in the favor of us and you. By, let us actually, go through this oil sector. Like the way they are through oil sector, taking advantage of it and giving Nigeria peanuts. Now, why do you think they did not go to Ojukwu and say, let us negotiate since you own the oil? Let's just forget these people. We will just handle them. We'll call that boy Gowon as at that time. We will call the boy in order. He's our boy. We will call him in order. Why didn't they do it like that? Because they know we don't settle for second best. We want to be the best. If there is a business, it must be profitable to you, to us. That is the reason why Britain, because they know the naivety of the Gowon. They know how naive Gowon and his associates are. And his Fulani. They know that, of course, they will say that this They are the ones who suggested, they are the ones who actually conducted the amalgamation. And it's only because of one thing. The amalgamation that is supported, that was actually carried out by Britain, because they could not control us. They could not control Biafrans, the eastern region. Now they suggested, no, since we cannot control these people, let's bring people we can give gun and bullet, power to control them for us. Then they forced the amalgamation. Immediately when they forced the amalgamation, that's when an Igbo man, when the countdown began, that Igbo man will never be included in economic opportunity because the guns and bullets, the soldiers and the police will be in the hands of the Fulanis. And they believe that it will be something that we will never pick up on time. But because of those who were in charge of Nigeria system, they could not hide. They could not hide. That was the reason why Ojukwu took it upon himself. He took it upon himself and said, no, we are not going to settle for the second best. We are not going to settle for the second best. He gave you a reason that you may be free. Many people sabotaged him. Many people, sabotaged him. I am not talking about social media sabo. I'm not talking about this type of sabo you people are labeling people. If people say some contrary to your opinion, you boy a sabo. Or if somebody say no to your demand, you boy a sabo. No, I'm not talking about that type of sabo. Because that one is a saga sabo. Not that type of sabo. You know the type of sabo that if I come and tell you now my opinion over a particular issue now, you got bomb sabo now. So I am not talking about that type of sabo. We are talking about those who went behind the war to go and negotiate for their stomach, to go and negotiate and sell their own people out. Those are the people we call saboteur. Those who went and make sure that, you know, when we're talking about Sabo, people will believe that this Sabo is Igbo people. Because that's what they have made many people to believe. If you understand the 1967 war, you will understand that the Saboness and weakliness happened across the Biafra land. Even our people in the other part on the coast were the first people to actually give up. So it is not about the reason why it looks like this Sabo is coming out from Igbo speaking Biafra today. It is because they are always the people who are fighting for freedom. They are in the front. If our brothers and sisters from the other side want to know whether they are Sabo, they should come and be in front. Be in front. Let us follow you for a change. We don't have a problem. If you be in front, we follow you for a change. Let us know whether you can be Sabo or not. So whenever you wake up and say, now the Igbo people na Sabo, just like this one Pomo boy, after all this saga with Nelly Ofebu and Dr. Pilot, he came and they say na Igbo will be in problem. Igbo na Sabo. So it is not so. It is important for you to know that we don't settle for second best. We want the best. And it is not a sin for you to want the best. It is not a sin, a crime, for you to want to be the best. But Britain have already saw that these people, if we leave them, they will eventually be the best. Let us give them to the hands of those who are under our mission. We have made them a Christian. Now let's hand them over to Muslim. Imagine that type of, combination. Imagine that type of combination. They made you a Christian and hand you over to Quran. Are you understanding? Because they know that Quran will discriminate against you. They know that Quran will discriminate against you because those who use Quran, they will always tell themselves that they are the best people on earth. Anybody that does not use Quran is not a good person. Sometimes they call them infidel. So that is the reason why they gave you Christianity, hand you over to Quran. And you become like a subject to Quran. Then I know our politicians. Go and check our politicians. Stomach politicians. That's all they do. Stomach politicians. Their shame is shaming me. Now you will understand the reason why Tinubu came out and then support TB Joshua. Support one Nyanwoke. You think he's a joke. He came out and support his brother. Because nkemo na-azụ n'afịa. Whether he is right or wrong, nkemo na-azụ n'afịa. And it is very, very important that you learn something from it. Tinubu supported TB Joshua does not mean that Tinubu went and bring people to investigate to see if there is any truth in what TB Joshua or in what people are claiming or the report of BBC to see if there is any atom of truth in it. But he supported him blindly. He never investigated. He never even called those people who blew the whistle to find out if there is truth in what they said. He never tried to source them to find out if there is truth or just a mere malign to the name of TB Joshua. He didn't do it. So, but in a situation whereby he perceived that, hey, now my tribe man, they want to spoil his name. He's my brother. He noticed that it is his brother. He protected him. Now, the question is, did he do good? He did very good. That is the status quo of Nigeria. That is the way things are run in Nigeria. You see, the decision made by Tinubu to protect his brother, TB Joshua, top notch. Because that is the culture of Nigeria. That is the culture of the politics plays in Nigeria. Now, if you don't understand the culture of the politics, you become a novice like all these Biafran politicians na Abuja Mbona. No. And we can get billions of dollars. But that is a change. It is a change. Now imagine a society where you are a governor. Imagine a society where you are actually a minister. Now everybody there is up and running. There are people are doing well. People are rich. Do you think everyone is in power? Do you think there will be crime there? Even if you steal money, there will be no crime. Even if you steal money, sometimes you say, now let me walk around within the area. Let me know around without even following this security up and down. Or let me just try to, drive myself around. You will be free. People will love you. Because people will not even have time to check who is going, who is passing. Whether you are driving a car that never exists, they won't have much time to say who is passing or to start chanting for you. The proper reason why these people are always creating poverty is they want people to be chanting for them. Hey, aeroplane, bye-bye, aeroplane, bye-bye. That is exactly what these people are looking for. President, president, bye-bye, president, bye-bye. And I feel like I come on one gig here for a boot. That is the only reason why these people are actually enjoying you being poor. because of achọ ka akpọfa ana akpọfa akụ na atakasị akpọcha afanya so that if ya n'ụzọ na afia azụ chukwu. And that is the only reason why they want you to remain poor. And this mentality happens a lot to our people. This mentality affects our people the most. Abeloga wunyelu gegen just I will tell 50 naira like this. A wunyelu ni one bundle. Una na-egbu onwu. Onwe ke ga wunyelu na enu elu 1000. Una na-egbu onwu na-akụ ọkpọ kunu zọkọta ya. Ma ndị ga-atakọsio isi ọnụ. You just give a sort of 50 naira. Is that the life you want to bequeath to your children? Is that the life you want to bequeath your loved ones? The life in infamy. That's exactly what they are actually creating for your next generation. Would you allow that to happen? The justice system is just doing, as they please. Everybody is doing as they... Once you find yourself in a particular situation, you do as you please. Now, think about those. Let's assume that the documentary of BBC is inaccurate or is to malign the name of the organization of TB Joshua. Let's assume that it is. Now, what will you, as a president who decided that I want to stand up for my brother, do? You will have them taken to court. Litigation. They should prove that what they documented is true or lie. Now, through litigation, because every media house is liable, responsible for their actions and inactions, for the report that is being made available. By them, they are liable for any consequences that might come up. Now, if the president believes that his brother is innocent, he take a litigation process against the BBC. That's one thing he's supposed to do. Now, since he came and made a media statement in response to, a documentary, that means he's not sure. He is just in the denial. And as a leader, if there are people who suffer this, by, being the victim of this process, if indeed there are people, because, when you want to understand things, no one is perfect. Now, when you want to understand something, I see some people who come to defend TB Joshua blindly. I also see people who also, attacked him blindly. Now, but in a situation whereby things like this happen, the one thing you should start looking for, what if? What if? What if? That will now lead you to investigate further. Because the pastor Monday. And that is the reason why and if you look at what your pastors have done in the past, if you find out that is the reason why they find justification in what they are doing. Now you will find out that now Pastor Mechonjo, everything pastor will do, and when people that are the victim of this circumstance, they will now, when they confess, everybody will turn against them. They become the victim. They become the criminal. They become now the aggressor. Because now pastor cannot sin. No one will investigate. No one will care to investigate. Just like many women came to say what they went through with the Pastor Suleiman. No, will not investigate. They will just say, no, don't let the wrath of God touch you, because all their rhetorics. Don't let the wrath of God. Don't provoke God. Don't do this. Don't do that. Without you investigating, that person might be suffering the consequences or psychological consequences of the hypnotism that was done to him by the pastor. because some of them will tell them that you are having a holy sex. They might be carried away because of the influence of this person. That is called, that is a kind of a statutory rape. It is a statutory rape. Now you are the state of mind of that person. You took advantage of their state of mind. It is like actually, sleeping with what do you call it? A minor. Because they are not in a position to make a decision. At that point in time, they are not in a position to make a decision. So in a situation whereby you do that because of your status, you took advantage of the child. Why is R. Kelly still in the prison today? Because what he did during his young age, that was what resulted him to the prison today. Now, many years ago it happened, but he is facing the consequences today. So why wouldn't pastors face their consequences of their actions and inactions? Why is it that whenever it concerns pastors, people will start saying, touch not my anointed one and do my prophet no harm? In a nebuchi forger, you will be covering evil. Now let's go back to the real topic. Let's assume that TB Joshua is wrong. Let's assume that he is right. It is not coming to defend him in public, which is the start. I don't blame Mr. Tinubu. I don't blame him. That is the way Nigeria is. You defend your own against all odds. And that is the reason why Igbo people cannot win in the politics of Nigeria. Because they cannot defend their own. They rather, turn against their own people. That's exactly the reason why they will never gain a stride in Nigeria politics. So in a situation whereby you did that, I recommend you, but in a real sense, let us be realistic here. There are people who could be, let me just make it fair, potential victim of this situation, if indeed it happened. So the best thing you will do to actually balance the equilibrium, it is to, put up things to investigate so that in a future purpose, you will know how to actually, gazette a law or enact a law that governs these religious leaders. Since you have discovered or that these religious leaders are being maligned for no reason, or you have discovered that these religious leaders are taking advantage of their members, you will make a decision that will stop that. It will work, for both or against. Vice versa. Now, in a situation whereby you did not actually conduct this investigation, you came and blindly, supported your brother because he's your tribesman. He's your tribe man. You supported him. Don't you think that those people who could be a potential victim of his action or his perceived action, don't you think they might be going through a lot? They might have realized that, no, I did this when I was not prepared. That is the reason why Africa will never move forward. We don't bring what-if analysis. We don't know what-if analysis. We think one way. We just think one way, like a goat. A goat, they think like this. Sometimes the goat is even better because they can perceive danger on time. Now, those people who might be the victim, where are they? They are going to suffer and die without people believing their story. Because that's what the damages these reverend fathers, reverend pastors, reverend sisters, they have caused in the society. When I was growing up, onye mụ na ya na-azọ asam na Nigeria wụ onye fada. Asam, onye fada ka mụ na ya na-azọ asam. Yotago na bai onye fada. Emeche ewepụ fada nke ahụ, si na mụ na yotago ka ewepụzi fada nke ahụ. Because mụ achọ igwe into that father that time self. Achọrọ m email fada ahụ ihe boys. That time, I plan to go me here, boys. Because what they go na when Jimalu and Danwa. Dana go upper Dana Gokwa Gendana Gokwa Giao, Onyana Gogiao, Wokwa. Umuaka raga a feature parish house. And they tell you, umuaka raga a feature parish house. Father Boba Tafi Muno, na meto chalfaka from there. Or this Virginia from there. Asam mueje bed ni follow. Or una father go ni follow. Because I got the young now. Man, I call me the young, here boys. Now, in that situation, I know these things happen. Not only mgbe the father and come what is their father also. My classmate, go to my classmate, a young boy. Kawa father, Tozi tapolia, Kopiawayazu. Makaranka the guy more experience. One of them on a general father and I choco konya link kojaba ball. Once you in a link kojaba ball. From there, a video come massage ya. Come and massage me. All banka father no maka no one a video. Macaron do maka hane je feature parish house. And do maka hane je sena hana je bro closer. Eba hane a video. He have first hand information. Now, my guy is Munia, you know, my mother's man, some na father na chosi tinya link ya up go jaba ball. Nsiago ala link kwa gi up gi jaba ball na kwa father alagi maka muade I was very exposed because I was into spiritualism as well. I was very into spiritualism. I see many people. I meet many people. So, as at that time, my guy, Osbongwa, this thing, or that why I'm a conda no waga, we're gonna have my argument, maka Catholic. You win where. You can never win them in argument. On that on a Catholic, Musefike, you will never win their argument. No, can do autopilot to autopilot no now. If you have one-on-one, mess with argument. If you don't need a win their argument or draw possible. Come ahead, me one or to buy one ban walk. You have to come here win their argument. So that is exactly what this guy was like. To that extent, when I told him this guy didn't argue with me like we used to argue. Then what happened? After 1 week, this guy saw me. I said, what is the reason why you told me that thing you told me that time? Nsia wanne na mu afugife. Akọrọ olumia kesi. Kamuna father jaza asam. Akọrọ olumia that one. Nsia wanne na mu afugife. The thing he told me now was that na ifa ngwakwa ya weziokwu. Na father say ya massage aya. O massage gide father Kenya. Iya na agwa gi wu. Niru chukwu na niru mmadu. I got to know adema akpa afafa. I cannot call the name of that father. But the name of that father, parish, you find it out. But I told me, I don't want to call the name of that father. But what I am telling you is before God and man. That is the reason why, dude. One email pastor bia ebe nyi wine no. Mbangu ime hani ye pastor ben ina eme peleke no amụma evulu godigi ina da side enyi nwa o njuru nwa nje na akụkụ ya njosu wolo onwe m jegodo na akụkụ enyi nwa jegodo park godo amụma nda sakwa gị side mo njuru nwa nwolozi amozo wala ide push oge aka. It's just that we are being forced to na joker as in ndị na-ege mom na that into that time. We were being forced kind of joke. Otherwise, more adigo. In fact, my mind, I can never stand. I go when Nanda never know how the father. Especially the father, I'm a the pastor that time. Because I cannot lie to you. I didn't know that the pastor no to uncle. Etem na father name because no way because more there's enough footers on when they been the Catholic and they belong. No, my cobello, my can. We might go no. Kayana, what they are, Kayana, what do you call, when you always thinking something, superstition. My superstition was always, You know, I said to myself, maybe these reverend fathers, they belong somewhere. They're taking the destinies of these children. That's what I told myself. Superstition. Now, I didn't believe that pastors are doing it also. I never believed that pastors are doing it. But to you, that one, you will tell yourself the truth. You know, when people come to tell us, you know, speak online what they have passed through in the hands of pastors and reverend fathers, you know, when I see it, I know that it is the truth. But people will never believe their story. Even your mother, even those people, believe you me, even those people, as their mother is deep-rooted in that church, when the mother hear that their daughter did this, they will go home and go and start beating up the children. Ige go lapta fada anyi, chuku gem akpogoku. Ige go lapta fada anyi. Okwa a blame on the child. Which status? The status of that child, the state of that child was actually being taken advantage of. They blame it still on that child, which build what is called psychological, you know, depression. It can build depression. Tomorrow is you will say that Nalo Wanja you go the child. Without knowing no ye father mayor. No ye father mayor. We hear Messi or not is it Kalo Wanja you were because on one on what a killing bido lawate on time, especially on what a killing wine. Bido lawate on time is in Ezu Kemoto. What a killing 18 years, maybe yellow man. He said there's Joko with moto. Take care, Josu. Take care, and all our faithful donadi. It is a proven fact because it remembers it. Even that time they are small. When they remember, when they are in school, they will be imagining, I'm a Messiah man. No, my friends are virgin. I'm go me man. Regret. That regret and the overthinking destroys their mind. It actually affects their mind. Before then, you know that the woman is in depression. Before then, the woman will start behaving like a lunatic. You will not know that the woman, it boils down to the extent of them being a bipolar. They will have a bipolar disorder. All these things have a significant effect, you know, both positive and negative in the children. In fact, negative, there is no positivity in that. Any child, any girl child that is exposed to sexual intercourse, we know before the age of 18, even 18 is very small. Before, in fact, let's say 18 because except if they were married, getting married at the age of 18, then they will not think about it. The legality is already been there. The mind, the brain has already accepted the legality of doing what is not right. So in situation like that, father and the pastors, they have destroyed your children, not my children. They have destroyed some of your children. But we will stand and think that everything is all right. Nothing is all right. These people are evil. I am not trying to be prejudiced. That's why I'm not calling the name of anybody. But funny name and fanchani neje. Funny famana fanchani na tamwa. Hanchani funny eji their influence welata. Fata chafe fichon. Oya ka ejikwa gị na nkịta niile na-eri nsi no nke liche nsi bulu n'ọnụ iwe malu na ọ na-eri nsi. That is the reason why. What am I trying to say? I am not here to be prejudiced against the people you call the men of God. No. I am here to state a fact that is happening in our society, that is destroying the mind of our children, that is destroying the minds of our young siblings, that you will not know. And when you find out, you will lay blame on them instead of confronting the initiator of the problem. Because there is no way a 14-year-old child will go to the parish house and tell father, I want to come man. All father game make it introduce way to Yarumana. Yomabe. Yone awoje na on Sunday school, they will be telling him, Muge meni Yarumana, Muge Kokwaniko, Muge Mekwanenka. Then you will go for the Megia. We get Jimatasi. No, we Yarumana can me yao. Oku Yarumana ka father memo. In what stress as a child. Who heals the society? In a country like this, where there is lawlessness, nobody is being cared for. Not even, you don't even have a good hospital infrastructure. Talk more of having psychologists that you will be. Psychologists are very expensive if they are in the hand of the private sector, except if they are in the public sector. If they are in public sector, they might be affordable to the, of course, where we are. All these things in the public sectors are for free. You access them for free. But if you are working, if you are gainfully employed, you will pay. But if you are not working, it is for free. So in a situation whereby there is no, availability of these things that will help you to actually navigate this problem, not to actually, in fact, to mitigate the impact of this problem, not to even do away with it, because it registers in the brain. It will never leave the brain. It will affect you your whole life. Sometimes people will actually be on medication until they die because of these things you see as if it is nothing. It is just a mistake. My small daughter went do a Mrs. Road inside parish house, and the Reverend Father now show her the road from the parish house, or pastor Mrs. Road from the church. Pastor now show him the way out of the church. At the end of the day, you will not know that your child is going through a lot. Man, the pastor and the father metala abortion at a very young age. Anobes Felix, yes, a therapy center. The therapy center, who is going to give you money to, assess it? Who is going to be there? Therapists are very, very important. They are very, very important in the society. If you have an accident, if a shock of accident hits you, after shock of accident, you need a therapist. If you are traumatized as a child, a therapist will help you navigate this stress. Sometimes they put you on medication. If you have a Stockholm syndrome, a therapist will help you to navigate it. But most people with Stockholm syndrome, they are ignorant. They don't even know they have it. Therapists can help you navigate many things, but those things are not necessities, are not seen as necessities by your government. It is because it is a privilege to have access to those things. Now, the only one man who called for a change, that all these things will no longer affect you. The only man who started exposing these issues, the problems in our society that no one is actually bold enough to come out and speak. The only man who came out to speak, the Apex Court of the land, decided that they will now deliver a judgment without following the due diligence and the protocols of the court, by 5-man panel of judges. 5-man panel of judges could not reach a unanimous decision, could not reach a consensus. Now, 2 were biased. They delivered the judgment, which nullify that process, because this is a criminal case. It is not a civil matter. So, in a situation of a criminal case, you cannot deliver a judgment without all these judges in that panel being involved. If the unanimous decision cannot be reached, you go through a vote. The majority will now take the judgment. That's the way it is done. So in this situation, you find out that these things will never and ever enable you to move forward or to thrive. Now, when you look at these people and their activities, you will find out that, no, we are not going anywhere. What we are doing is deceiving ourselves. Let us stop deceiving ourselves. If Nnamdi Kanu could be, if that justice in 2023, December 15, could stand up until now, no politician, nothing is happening in Nigeria. All the Igbo politicians or Biafran's politicians in a general, all of them kept quiet. When there is no hope for you in the hands of politicians. I swear, there is no hope for you. Let's take away from freedom fighting. Let's take away from freedom fighting and secession. Let's just take it aside. Let's be realistic. Let's actually, reason with our brain and understand it with our heart. Now, I want you to think about in a situation whereby everybody that speak, your parents will tell you, Ibakwa boss na Nigeria, ekwukwe n'okwu. Ejekwe na-ekwu okwu maka ndị ori. Ibakwa boss, ekwukwe na maka ndị politician. Ọkwa ifuru. Ife ya agwa uno ifuru. Asị gị ihuru. Na Ibakwa boss, ejekwe na-ekwu. One man now dedicated himself and started speaking from ground zero. His life was, they attempted to kill him. He ran away for his life. Now, they named it now being in contempt of court. From there, they went and kidnapped him in Kenya. Of the book, which is kidnapping. Once you call kidnapping, it is an act of terrorism because it is intercontinental. No, not intercontinental. It is across the border kidnap. It is across the border kidnap. So it is an act of terrorism for you to go to another country and kidnap somebody. And the president of such country will tell you that they don't know about it. And the airport shows that there is no evidence to show that he was stamped out. So it is a kidnap. It's an act of terrorism. So in situation like this, there is no justifiable evidence that will make the trial to stand, because court is not supposed to entertain any issue without their jurisdiction. Anything that falls outside their jurisdiction, they cannot entertain it, except if Nigeria showed that there was indeed extradition process, and Nigeria, Kenya had no extradition treaty. They did not have bilateral relationship. So there could never be extradition they will never apply for extradition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It was not possible. So the first thing they're supposed to do is to form a bilateral relationship before they will actually try to, apply for extradition. Extradition application starts with the court proceeding being established from the ground zero, where the perceived criminal is found or fugitive. But now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was not declared a fugitive. He is not a fugitive. So you cannot just say you want to extradite somebody without telling people, the court, the reason why you want to extradite this person. If it is so, it means that so many of you or so many of our people who are all over the place speaking truth to power, they will wake up one day and say, let us go and extradite, let's just go and bring this boy in, and they will just put his head on the chopping block. They were gonna do it. But because you cannot just wake up in the morning and go and extradite somebody, it's not possible. So the whole world and everything, even the judiciary of Nigeria, knows that there is no extradition without a bilateral treaty. So how did he come back to Nigeria? The 5-man panel of judges, which two were so biased that they went and delivered judgment that does not meet the requirement of a court. Apex court of the land. It is an insult. The status quo is also mesmerized. We can never fix it. So we should stop fooling ourselves in Nigeria. Everybody is trying to protect their own, except the Biafran people. Except the Biafran people. Now, if you understand that the verdict was delivered on the 15th, hey, Igbo politicians, all of them ban on Mechion. Biafran's politicians, ban on Mechion. We have a Biafran politician who is in the red chamber. I have put money in all of your accounts so that you will celebrate your holiday. When he discovered that the Bindia is watching him, he said, I have sent prayers in your post box. I have sent prayers in your post box so that it will guide you to go to your holiday. 200 million people. He said, God. God. Blacks. The kind of say blacks. This OG. Nobody. There is no institution that called him to question him. But Emefiele, who was ordered by the Fulani-led government of Buhari and their imposter later, was the one who is being held to accountable. He was the one who is being held accountable. Because Emefiele is the weaker person. In fact, he's the only one who they know, Buhari knows that it was an imposter. Oh, nostalgia. Now I want to tell you the reason why. Hi. I want to tell you the reason why Buhari went to attack Tinubu went to attack Emefiele directly. It is because Tinubu knows that the one in Aso Rock was an imposter. That is the reason why he went to attack Emefiele. Because he will say, if this is an imposter, it means that it is Emefiele's, and Emefiele is probably the one who initiated, aided and abetted this plan to change the currency. That's why he focused on Emefiele. Who make the decision? Imposter cannot make the decision. That will be in the mind of Tinubu. Imposter cannot make this decision. So Emefiele, you are the one who make this decision. And you cannot tell me Garba Shehu and the gang of Kabas in Aso Rock make you make the decision. They are not in a position to make you make the decision. So Emefiele, you are the one who makes the decision. Have you now seen the conflict? That's exactly what this conflict is all about. That is exactly what aggression on Emefiele is all about. But Emefiele, you are the one who made the decision because it was an imposter that was in Aso Rock. And apparently maybe you know about it. So you are the one who made the decision. Or or maybe Emefiele knew it was an imposter. An imposter would love to give back to the people who created him. So Emefiele now decided to change the dollar so that there will be no corruption in the election process. Now, because he did it, the president now, because he want to change the design of the note and then, withhold the note not to circulate so that there will be no election malpractice. Emefiele might even mean well for Nigerians. As he's the one who took the decision because they know that it's an imposter there that is on top. So Emefiele mean well for the nation. Now, because he mean well, that's why he need to pay for meaning well for the nation. So these are the things you need to consider. And that is the reality of our lives. That's it. People get to the position of power. Who watches them? Nobody. They watch themselves. They do whatever they please. Now, when it comes to SOEs, you will find somebody, maybe, of course, Nigeria has been deindustrialized. In fact, it was deindustrialized. That's why Ajokute, whatever, that factory company in Ajokute, that's why all of them are closed. And Nigeria is deindustrialized. That's why you cannot refine your oil. Nigeria is deindustrialized. That's why there is nothing being produced in Nigeria. It is only now the locals that are now reindustrializing Nigeria, such as Inosin and those people who are manufacturing, manufacturing companies. But they are doing it on a very, very lower scale because there is no contribution of government. Now the SOEs that are being supposed to be managed, maybe you will find them, what do you call, power holding. Power holding. Our power holding couldn't appear. Oboro NEPA. NEPA with Ndubo. In fact, NEPA will generational cost. Power holding. Now when you see power holding, which requires an electrical engineer or requires somebody who holds a PhD in electrical, who maybe they will take and they might take somebody who did marketing, or even somebody who has diploma in marketing, They will come and tell them and go and become manager of Power Holding, PHCN. They'll go and be the manager there. A novice. If there will be a procurement that needs to be done, you know who is going to? So the only thing that na any give the position, only is go to link ya. Or Cholima. Those who are the electrical people now come. Abuy or Safia, Liayolu, Welo Chinko, Bunya for procurement. Emilia Loli Uzo Chinko. So you will find out, Katana, you will go and take somebody who is not, knowledgeable about civil engineer. You go and make them minister of road and infrastructure. Minister of road and infrastructure. Have you now seen the reason why we will never move forward in the continent of Africa? You will never move forward. Because the status quo, anything can serve. Anything can serve. Why do you think you will have electricity when there are no technocrats? When there is nobody that is there that knows about electricity, that is managing electricity issue? You will not see. Because it is through nepotism. And we can Mumbo, irregular Port Harcourt election, we can come and be Abuja minister. Achawagi now. Come and be Abuja minister. All these things you are seeing, how do you think you are going to move forward as a nation? Are we going to be dependent on the big world to eat? Food. We are importing food. We are importing food. Early 90s, you understand how important each family land is to every Igbo man. You will understand how important family land where you cultivate. But now you have sold it and converted the money to send your children abroad. You have no family land anymore where you can cultivate and produce your own food. Whether in a lower scale, at least you mitigate poverty. You don't have it. You don't have priorities on farmland anymore. I say, no, all on dobiam. Oh, a case will be there. I have sent an alcohol, no, all on dobiam. They'll go to every part of the world. The food producing companies or the farmers are always on the top of the list of those who are very, very successful, the farmers. But when it comes to our own Asignal Lobiam, what a shame. Where are we going as a nation? Where are we going? We have no direction. We have no beginning. Because Britain began it. And without telling you where they want to take it, they just make you a manager. Every 4 years, 8 years, they look for a new manager. Because the naive Gowon sold Nigeria to Britain just to be the one who finished the Biafra people and erased them from the face of the earth. That was what Gowon did. He sold Nigeria to Britain. Regardless of the colonization, arrangement, he now handed Nigeria over to Britain. Because Britain even confessed in the documentary that if, without them supporting Nigeria, they will never beat Biafra, no matter what they have. That's what they, they did. Well, my propaganda, I say, when so, hi, somebody that is a Biafran will wake up today and tell me I'm proud of one Nigeria. Your ancestors will be very, very worried, they are going to be very, very sick, ashamed of you. For you to say you are proud to be one Nigeria. Go to the Daily Maverick. I want you to go to Daily Maverick, read the documentary of, what Harold Wilson and Gowon did to us. And come back and tell me if you are proud to be one Nigeria. In fact, Thunder Sineni Gwabogi. Nigeria will never be good. Nigeria will never ever be a nation. It will always continue to be a British contraption, enclave. That is the reason why your President Emeritus in the likes of Goodluck Jonathan called Nigeria a mere geographical expression, right? A mere geographical expression. Maybe I have it here. He called Nigeria that Nigeria is not a country, but a mere geographical expression. It is not my word. Your former president called Nigeria, and that is what we have seen. Listen to it yourself. You will hear it if you pay attention to this video that I'm about to play. You will hear it.
Thinking about how we've been having this conversation about the unity of Nigeria. And I reflect back at some of the prominent statements made by some of our founding leaders. And I feel that probably this would help us to have a conversation on the Nigerian unity. I just brought four, not to bore you. First, and I quote, not my statement. Nigeria is not a nation. It's a mere geographical expression. There are no Nigerians in the same sense as there are English, Welsh, or French. The word Nigerian is merely a distinctive appellation to distinguish those who live within the boundaries of Nigeria from those who do not. This is accredited to Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the former Prime Minister of the Western region. The second one, and I quote, "It is true that we politicians always delight in talking loosely about the unity of Nigeria. 60 years ago, there was no country called Nigeria. What is now Nigeria consisted of several large and small communities, all of which were different in their outlooks and beliefs. The advent of the British and that of Western education has not materially altered the situation, and the many and varied communities have not knit themselves into a composite unit. The disaccredited to Sir Ahmadu Bello, former Premier of Northern Region.
Okay.
And I quote, since 1914, the British government has been trying to make Nigeria into one country. But the Nigerian people themselves are historically different in their backgrounds, in their religious beliefs and customs, and do not show themselves any sign of willingness to unite. The Nigerian unity is only a British intention for the country. This is, sir.
Okay. This is former president of Nigeria telling you that Nigeria is not a country. Now, in this regard, if a president knows that Nigeria is not a country, a learned president, I believe at some point is a vice chancellor. He was a vice chancellor in the university. A vice chancellor. He is Professor Goodluck Jonathan, right? So, he's telling you that Nigeria does not exist. So now you are forcing yourself, telling us one Nigeria. Some people wear clothes to say, let's give Tinubu a chance, he will fix Nigeria. As you're in your widest dream, if Tinubu fix Nigeria, what will be next Fulani coming to do? The next Fulani that will come. Because the plan is to balkanize you, Fulanize you. What will be the next thing they are going to do? If Peter Obi had been there, claimed that he will fix Nigeria. If he fixed Nigeria, what will be the next plan of the next Fulani? Or is Peter Obi fix Nigeria, he will remain there? If he tried to fix Nigeria 4 years, Ethiopia. How about 4 years? They will come from even from US, giving you ultimatum. Don't tamper with that election. We are watching you. But when you are committing genocide, they will not come from US and tell you, stop this your genocide now, no. But they will be able to tell them, don't tamper with this election. We are watching you. I want you to understand that. When people are committing genocide, we need to go to ICJ first. And go to United Nations and start reminding them of Genève's Convention. You need to do that first. But in a situation whereby they have interest, they will tell you, don't rig this election or don't tamper. Don't try. They will now tell you, give you ultimatum. Oh, black people. We are in a one mighty mess. Looking for, in fact, not all of us are looking for a way to get out of it. India is manufacturing, producing stuff. It is a center of manufacturing today, after China. Look at it. Nigeria. I don't blame somebody who said that Nigeria took British English and left, and their religion, and left British technology. I don't blame that person. I don't really blame them. That's exactly the truth. We didn't pick sense. We did not, in fact, Nigerians, they did not take sense, British sense. They only took their religion, they took British English, using it to intimidate each other. If you speak it too much, you will use it to intimidate another one. If you cannot speak it very well, your information is inaccurate, according to illiterate. If you cannot speak it very well, fluently and correctly, your information becomes inaccurate and invalid because you don't know English. How you want to teach me? How you want to teach me history when you don't know English? That is the slogan. That is the slogan they will always use. And you look at it and you will see black people as people who are willing or who have what it takes to actually elevate themselves and liberate themselves from this colonialism. It is not possible. If I may borrow a quote from Professor Lumumba, he said that those that are recruiting their stooges, they have never ever run short of the recruitment. They continue. Every time they come to recruit, there is always people available in abundance to be recruited, to work against their own. That's it. And that is the reality of it in Africa. As the giant of Africa is gianting it, taking a lead towards this corruption, towards promoting, aiding and abetting neo-colonialism to destroy the people, as it is making them rich and setting them high above every other people. That's exactly the reason why they are enjoying it. What makes you powerful and every other person must bow down before you? You throw them money on air and they will start fighting each other to get it. Like I made a reference the other day, throwing money on air for somebody, or maybe you say 1,000 people that are hungry. And these people that are hungry, they can eat anything. You give them 100 oranges, they are 1,000. You just throw 100 oranges on top, up for them. They have to kill themselves. And they will kill themselves until they left with 100 people, so that they will be able to get these oranges one after another. If some of them will not even want to get 2 or 3, because they have the strength to fight more. So that's exactly what they've been doing to us. They've been playing with our minds. How do we actually navigate this issue? It is for you to know it is time to unlearn. Learn and relearn. What you used to see as your, as your phenomenon or your norm, it is no longer what it is. Like when we give you and tell you that the pastors are criminals, you will tell us, no, don't you want to my anointed one and do my prophet no harm. Or you will tell me, no, not your pastor. But you have never investigated him. I'm not calling him a criminal. I'm giving you an example. You have not investigated him, but you say, no, not my pastor. I know my pastor. But I say, but I blame him. I blame him. Ever good too much. Where there is a land where there is a full of hunger, anyone can actually deceive them. A place where there is poverty can do wayo kacha egwu. Akacha egwu ndị ụbịam wayo. Ndị ụbịam ka akacha egwu wayo. Invest one naira and win 100 naira. Invest 1 naira and win 2,000. Ndị ụbịam kaba ha eje top parking. For top parking ebe they were last card. Ka wee were 1 naira win 2,000. Hi, poverty is an institution. Poverty is a shop in Nigeria. It's a shop where people come and shop people, poor people, naive people, people with no choice, people who have lost their sense of humor. They come there to shop. Until we meet again, we will leave it here. But I want to remind you and remind the world that the justice or the verdict delivered on the 15th of December 2023 is null and void. As long as it was not delivered through unanimous decision. As long as it was not delivered considering the protocols or the protocols being observed. As long as it was not done through a consensus, it is null and void. So, Nigeria government should stop fooling themselves. Nigeria judiciary should stop fooling themselves. They have destroyed, if there is any integrity they ever created, they have destroyed all of them. That is the reason why those who, that is the reason why once, you understand the truth, you focus and continue pushing, fighting for your liberation, fighting for your survival, fighting for freedom. We are not into politics. We are not willing to go into politics. Even if we are going to go into politics, we are not going into Nigeria politics. When we get to Biafra land, we will know whether we want to actually engage in politics in Biafra land. Because if somebody tell you they want to be, they still have, intention to be a politician in Nigeria, it means that they believe in Nigeria. They believe in Nigeria. We are not politicians. We don't want to dine with politicians. The only thing that is important for you to know is that if the politicians say, let us come to a round table and discuss a way out, then they are talking. But in as much as they are still ducking and diving, looking for who they want to buy over, looking for people they will recruit in the social media to go and start constituting nuisance, no, they are not ready yet. Politicians, they are all the same. Nobody will go into politics and tell you I'm a good politician. It doesn't exist in Africa. They have no conscience. Once they go into politics space, they sell their conscience. Nigeria has no integrity. How can the judiciary have integrity? A judiciary that does not understand that judiciary does not actually entertain a case it lacks jurisdiction. A case that it has no jurisdiction over. They don't entertain it. Professionally, you quash the case, discharge it, stop wasting people's time. There are thousands of people who are lavishing in jail. Use the time to go and attend to their matter. But they attend even outside their jurisdiction. That is to show there is no, there is no substantial evidence that shows that the trajectory of Nigeria is going to lead you to success or bring a change. It is not going to happen. It is done and dusted. All you need to do is find a way to escape. You might not like me, but you will know that what I am telling you is the truth. Those who does not like me because of the type of, politics, talk on politics I do. If you don't like me, you don't like the truth. You do not like the truth. Some people, when they see the type of politics discussion or argument I make, they will just hate Judge Money for no reason. But that is not the problem. But while you are joining us, share the video. But if you cannot like the video, you might not as well. You can as well don't share it because it makes no sense. If you like the video, the algorithm will share the video. That's the way it is. So if you cannot share the video, my job is that if I have the time, I will come online and deliver my message. If you want to share it, if you want to don't share it, as long as me and you, we are in this mess together, I'm showing my face, risking myself, just for us to get out of the mess. You will look and Judge Money, but let's leave Judge Money. Let's leave Judge Money. Only a suit. He's wearing suit. Let's leave him. It will not take you anywhere. Because some people na fukama sabo makana ne suit. In case some of you are amaro una malokuya. Somebody na fukama sabo na ne suit. But only lo fula melanya. Si fula melanya will me bending. Yatago mana udo kwa. Kare jenu bikajinaka. These are the things we need to teach our people to unlearn. Learn and relearn. Everything you do can never be one-sided. You must seek for other opinion. I don't entertain things that doesn't have, that is not opinionated. I want we listen to this opinion, we compare. Which one are we going to pick up? We pick up from there. That's exactly how you get it right. Hey, it is time for me to bounce. Now bone. We know that Facebook is dealing with us decisively. But once we have time, the numbers doesn't count. These numbers doesn't count. Once, if we have the time, we will continue to do what we are doing. But, motivation comes with your support. Motivation comes with your support. That's exactly, how it is. If you come online, everybody that comes online, see your video, they want freedom. They wouldn't say, no, it is Judge Money. No, it is Judge Money. Judge Money, They don't want to even listen to the content of your story. You are not ready for freedom yet. You are ready for saga. You are ready for saga and Ebasiri. Continue now, Basiri. But na ụgbọ ga-alụkwa gị, asịkwara na ụgbọ ga-alụgo gị maka na ị na-ebe ị nọ na-agba asịrị. Ebe ọ bụla ị na-achọ platform ị ga-eje gbaa asịrị. Ka ebe a na-akụ dị asịrị ahụ maka ebe a na-akụ inte asịrị ahụ ka ije gbaa anyanwụ asịrị. Ngwa gbara asịrị na-aga. Ụmụaka gị ga-etonyite banyere afụfụ ya a na-ata. And ị ga na-agba asịrị a feel ya na ị na-azọ freedom. Ị na-agba asịrị feel ya na ị na-azọ freedom, gbara asịrị kpagharịwa. Udo dị. Ka Chukwu gozie unu ụmụnne m. Bye bye.